"I would scream in my sleep." Women from Syria's Alawite minority tell of kidnap and rape. Warning: this report contains accounts of sexual assault and violence that some readers may find distressing. Ramia was preparing for a family picnic on a warm summer day in her village in Latakia province in western Syria, when a white car drove up, she said. 3 armed men got out, saying they were government security forces, and dragged her into the vehicle. The teenager, whose name has been changed for her safety and to protect her identity, told the BBC World Service. "The men beat her," she said, hitting her harder when she started crying and screaming. One of them asked if I was Sunni or Alawite. "When I said Alawite, they began insulting the sect," she added. Ramia is one of dozens of women reported kidnapped since the fall of the dictatorship of Bashar al-Assad in December 2024. The Syrian Feminist Lobby (SFL), an advocacy group for women's rights, says it has recorded reports from families, media, and other sources of more than 80 women who have gone missing. It says it has confirmed 26 of those cases to be kidnappings. Nearly all those reported missing are members of the Alawite sect, an offshoot of Shia Islam that makes up about 10% of Syria's population and to which the ousted president belongs. 2 Alawite women and the families of 3 others have shared details of abduction and assault with the BBC. All their names have all been changed for reasons of privacy and safety. All of them said the interim government's General Security Service, which is responsible for policing, had failed to investigate fully. One says its officers mocked her when she reported her ordeal. The Interior Ministry's spokesman said in November that it had investigated 42 alleged kidnappings, and found all but 1 were false. When contacted by the BBC, it said it had no further comment. However, a security source told the BBC that kidnappings had occurred, including some involving members of the security service, who he said had been dismissed. The kidnappings and disappearances recorded by the SFL span a period from February 2025 to early December. This is both before and after March, when more than 1,400 people, mostly Alawite civilians, were killed in sectarian violence in the western coastal regions. Forces loyal to the Sunni Islamist-led government were accused of a wave of revenge killings following a deadly ambush by Assad supporters. Many members of the Assad regime's elite were Alawites, but other members of the sect faced repression for opposing the former president. Ramia spoke quietly as she described being forced to wear a full body covering and niqab, a veil which leaves just the eye area exposed. She said she was locked in an underground room furnished with a bed and a dresser, on which lay toiletries and a condom. Held for 2 days, she tried to escape once and attempted suicide twice, she said. Her captor did not speak Arabic fluently and had Asian features, she said, adding that he removed her niqab and took photos. A woman living in the same building, who said she was the captor's wife, explained the photo was to determine her price for sale, Ramia said. She said the woman told her many others had been kidnapped before her, and that some had been raped and released, while others had been sold. The BBC could not verify any cases of money being exchanged for kidnapped women, but activists have reported cases where victims said they were threatened with being sold or forced into marriage. Nesma, a mother in her 30s, told the BBC she was taken from her village, also in Latakia province, and driven away in a van with curtained windows. Her voice shook over the phone as she described being held for 7 days in a room with high windows that appeared to be in an industrial facility, and interrogated by 3 men about the residents of her village and any links to the former regime. She said her captors were all masked and spoke in the Syrian Arabic dialect. She says they told her Alawite women were created to be sabaya, an archaic Arabic term, meaning female captives, and used by some Islamist extremists to refer to women treated as sex slaves. Her captors raped her multiple times. She said, "All I could think about was death, that I would die and leave my child without a mother." Leen, another teenager, endured beatings, threats at gunpoint and daily sexual assault, her mother Hasna told the BBC. Her captor kept his face covered, spoke poor Arabic and boasted about taking part in killings of Alawites during March's violence, Hasna said. "He used to call our girls Sabaya, because they do not believe in God." Hasna says some Sunni extremists consider Alawites to be heretics. The BBC also spoke to Ali, who said his wife Noor was kidnapped and held for several weeks, and a mother, Somaya, who said her teenage daughter was sexually assaulted for 10 consecutive days. Nesma told the BBC that security officers treated her mockingly and disrespectfully when she went to tell them she had been kidnapped. "They said to me, 'You should say you were on a picnic.'" Ramia said officers initially seemed engaged with her case, but stopped taking her calls once they identified her captor. The family received threats by phone that they would pay a price if we talked, she said. They decided to flee the country. Ali told the BBC they arrested the kidnapper, but we don't know what happened next. He said he was afraid the kidnapper may be released and will calm.